Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Conuse in the Ask Men subreddit. The post is titled, "My girlfriend came home and overheard my therapy session. She listened to it and is very angry now. My girlfriend came home while I was in therapy through telehealth. She heard me talking about her and chose to listen for about 30 minutes before I realized that she was home. She stormed out and was extremely angry at me. I had been talking about our relationship, and in the heat of emotions, I jumped to hurtful conclusions about how people around me feel about her, which I worry I misconstrued in my speaking as dislike. I had also been talking about our relationship, some stresses, getting everything out, and just talking through it. She says she feels betrayed and like she was stabbed in the back over this. I feel awful and I have not been able to interpret my feelings on this appropriately either, and I have been responding with anger. How do I proceed? What do I do? Sorry for the small details, it is for privacy's sake." Edit, I do want to add that other than what has been stated here, I did not say anything directly mean about her. I have only talked about issues we have had and how those around me might view her. She only heard me talking and not my therapist. She is upset I would share any information about our relationship or what she has been struggling with anyone, including my therapist. Edit 2, I thank you all for your support, and although I am not replying to every comment, I am reading them and taking everything into account. I am also at work and I work in emergency medical services, so I am sorry if I do not get to your comment. Edit 3, I thank you all for your replies. I am sorry I have not been able to respond to everyone. You have all been a big help, and I am going to reflect on everything everyone has said when looking at this relationship. Thank you all. Update. I recently posted here about my girlfriend eavesdropping on my therapy conversation and the huge fallout that came from it. It has been a couple of weeks and a lot has happened. I took everything everyone said from my previous post and read it multiple times to really get my head where it needed to be. I realized that she should not have listened and that was on her. We had an argument not long after I made the post. She blamed me for everything and said many hurtful things. I was leaning towards breaking up when her whole script flipped. She acted like she was in the wrong about everything and made me feel like she was going to change for the better. She wasn't. I took a step back from our relationship for 2 days. I wanted to really reflect and think. She did not honor that wish and she did not have any plans to. But after reading all the comments and reflecting, I realized I was in a toxic relationship where I was cutting off my friends and family for this person that I would never be enough for. I ended up breaking up with her. It hurt a lot, but I thank you all so much for helping me see what needed to be done. I could not have done it if it were not for all your advice. I wanted to give this little update to let everyone know how thankful I am and to answer any questions I did not from my previous post. Aria cannot sing, Syed, I am nosy and love to eavesdrop on people in public. A therapy session for my partner, I am definitely not okay with that. Frankly, therapy should be a place where we can say anything because how else will our therapist be able to help us? I am glad OP broke up with her. Inconspicuous Echoes said, if I walk in and my husband is clearly in a therapy session, I am hauling myself to the other side of the house to give him his privacy. It is basic respect, which she had none of, on top of all the markers for emotional abuse and isolation. This next post was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Mobile Meal. The post is titled, "Sister is mad that I have no reaction to her talking to my ex-girlfriend. My sister recently told me she has been getting coffee regularly with an ex-girlfriend who broke up with me way back in 2005. She hid it from me for over 2 months, and then when she eventually told me and asked if I was okay with it, I had no visible reaction and asked her what she wanted from me. This ex and I dated from 1999 to 2005, from the ages of 14 to 20. She was cheating on me for the last 2 years and left me for the other guy. It was 20 years ago. I am 40 now. I was heartbroken but dealt with it and moved on. I have a wife I've been married to for 12 years. I am a dad to 3 kids. Why would I care about someone from 20 years ago? My sister is frustrated because I have no reaction. She wants to know if I'm okay with it or not. They were good friends back then, but stopped talking when the breakup happened. She says it is like all that time has not passed. I guess she wants my approval. Like I said, I literally do not care. If she wants to talk to her, that is fine, but I will not be interested. It is her life. She can talk to whoever she wants. Edit, my sister also felt as betrayed as I did about the cheating, hence why they stopped talking. But again, the whole affair was 20 years ago, and I dealt with the hurt and have moved on from it. I genuinely do not feel weird if my sister is talking to her again. Update. I realized I had never given my sister a direct answer, just that I had no visible reaction and asked her what she wanted from me, which frustrated her. I ended up calling her not that long ago and we talked about it. I asked why she felt so strongly about wanting to know my feelings, and as many of you suspected, she wanted my approval. I explained in my original post that my sister and my ex were quite good friends, and that friendship ended because I was cheated on and my sister also felt betrayed. The two of them had not spoken in 20 years. When my sister and my ex were friends, they did a lot with me and together. They did a lot together and were almost like best friends. And my sister told me that, of course, she was angry and felt betrayed about the cheating, but she was also sad because she lost her only genuine friend at that time. I know she has really struggled to maintain good friendships, so when she happened to bump into my ex by chance and they picked up where they left off, she jumped at the chance to rekindle their friendship. She said it is like a fog has been lifted from her and that she feels like she has her best friend back. She wanted to tell me but thought I would be weird about it because at the time I was so upset about the breakup. She feels really guilty for being happy about rekindling a friendship with someone who caused me so much pain. After hearing all that, I understand why she wants to maintain the friendship and why she did not want to tell me. I explicitly told her that I have no reaction to it because, without sounding disrespectful, I truly do not care who she spends her time with. I told her I feel enough time has passed that I can accept my ex is in her life, especially since my sister told me my ex is still with the man she left me for and they are married with a family, so they are obviously serious. She also said her daughters, my nieces, are the same age as my ex's kids and that it would be good for the kids to be friends since they do not have many. As I said, I have also moved on, have been married for 12 years, and have 3 kids. I basically told my sister if she is looking for my blessing, she has it, but that I will not be involved or really interested in the friendship because it does not mean anything to me anymore. I also told her she should not feel guilty. It happened, it is done, and I have moved on and recovered from it. If I saw my ex, I would be civil, but I would not be weird about it because, again, I do not really care. Plus, from what my sister said, my ex will really only be spending time with her, possibly my brother-in-law and their kids, so I may not see her at all. She ended the call feeling at least happier, and I am just glad she has a friend back, I suppose. Not an exciting update, but I think it is a good outcome. We were just mature and civil about the whole thing. Istara said, I am really glad to see someone who has moved on, has a healthy and happy life, and carries no bitterness. This is the goal, far better than resentment or revenge. We are rarely the same people at 40 as we were at 20. There is a reason rehabilitation exists and why people get out of jail and do not necessarily re-offend. People do learn, change, and grow. Potential Click said, it is kind of weird though from OP's sister's perspective. Here is someone who cheated and hurt your brother deeply, and you think that your brother may still harbor ill will. So let me start a secret relationship and hide it for 2 months. I am assuming the guilt was getting to her. I am glad to see OP living his best life. This final post was made in the relationship advice subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, I think my husband might be cheating on me, but my evidence isn't very good. 2 weeks ago, I unexpectedly broke my phone when I dropped it. I was without a phone for a few days and I had to make calls to family and friends. I took my husband's phone with his consent, of course. When I was looking for one person in his contacts, I noticed that he had someone saved as Love. Honestly, I found this a bit odd as he is usually the type to refer to everyone by name and where he knows them from. Even I am not described as wife, but as OP's name. Despite this, even when my husband changes his phone, he always keeps the same number and transfers all his stuff. Some of his contacts are even from school. So I started wondering if it was some ex-girlfriend he had forgotten about or something else. It bothered me, so the next day I approached him and said, "Hey, when I was using your phone, I noticed one weird contact labeled love, and it's bothering me. Could you explain it to me?" His answer surprised me a bit because he said, "Good that you mentioned it. I was just thinking about calling them." To put it as simply as possible, love is a pizzeria which we sometimes use. The thing is, I am 100% sure love only became a pizzeria after I used his phone. I do not remember the entire number, but I do remember the last 2 digits. Let's say it was something like 11. The pizzeria's number ends with something like 33. I cannot stop thinking about it. I have a feeling that because my phone broke unexpectedly, he did not have time to change love to something else. But he knew I would ask, so he switched it after I finished using his phone. On the other hand, we have been together for 7 years, and he has never been secretive. He never hid his phone, and I have never seen anyone saved as love call him. But ever since this thought popped into my head, I cannot stop wondering, how do I approach this? Do I have the right to ask him to look through his phone? How can I trust him? Update. First, I want to apologize for not responding to my previous post. I wrote it before leaving the house, and I immediately fell asleep when I got home. Now, today's events, I decided to take a chance. While my husband was taking a bath, I used his phone. I found 2 numbers that matched the first one, 11, but one of them was his sister's, so that was out. I wrote down the second number on a piece of paper and quickly put the phone away. But 10 minutes later, my husband was still in the bathroom, so I took a chance again and checked his phone once more. He and this number exchanged 2 phone calls every day, one when he should be at work and one when I am already asleep. I fall asleep first and my husband goes to bed a little after midnight. They also had a lot of messages, but all of them from my husband boiled down to "How are you feeling?" and "Do you need anything?" No photos. When it was time for me to go for a run, I took my phone and the number I had written down. I ran to the park and called it. A woman answered almost immediately. An elderly lady, a truly elderly lady, not his grandmother or anyone else in the family, but she was the love. This is where it gets even weirder. I told her I was a friend of my husband's. She told me she did not know who I was talking about, and I could tell from her voice that she was not lying. She was genuinely confused. So I said I was talking about the person she talks and texts with every day. She said, "Oh, you mean definitely not my husband's?" I said yes. We had a conversation in which she praised him and called him her another soulmate and true angel. She also asked me not to tell my husband's wife about our conversation and that he helped her every day and asked me when he could visit her again. I was very confused. I made up a quick excuse and hung up. I got home an hour ago and I still do not know what to do. I am more confused than last time. Sam Fitness Throwaway said, "Okay, so I used to work as a newsreader and there was an extremely sweet elderly lady who used to call every day after the final news program to ask about the weather. There was weather at the end of the show, but she always had some excuse for missing it. The doorbell rang, the kettle boiled over, etc. She just wanted to speak to someone and hear a familiar voice. She had dementia, which progressively worsened and became convinced that I was her late husband. She called me by his name, kept asking when I was coming home. She once turned up at the newsroom but was not let in. She eventually passed away, but I played along because, well, why not? It was some human connection and hope for her. I feel like this is going to be one of those cases, an elderly and confused friend." Bogger said, "It sounds like he is scamming this poor old lady. Scammers got my mum not long after my dad passed away. I was furious. She is not very tech savvy and they tricked her into thinking that there was something wrong with her computer. She had to pay them $500 to get the use of her computer and photos back. Maggots." Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.